Hello everyone, welcome back. I kind of goofed up on this one already. Here I went through unboxing everything, and unfortunately I didn't hit the start button. So we're starting all over again. So, when we look at the box, we have one jack, and he's sitting ever so nicely in here. So we do get one jack from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. On the back of the box, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi is set years after the dramatic events of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, where Kenobi faced the corruption of his friend and Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker turned Sith Lord Darth Vader. So that's what we get off the box. So unfortunately, we have a dead character here. And I will read this off here. So the last figure that we did, I went to Star Wars itself, and it did not have all that much there for us to really kind of go off of. Here we have one jack off of Wikipedia, and then they do have a little bit more of a write-up, although it is, it's not like there's a huge background to them, because these were done for the series, and then unfortunately they were kind of killed off. So one jack was a LOM series protocol droid. So starting off as a protocol droid, very much like the 3PO, C-3PO, that worked as a bounty hunter during the reign of the Galactic Empire. In 9 BBY, one jack was on the planet Daiyu when a bounty was placed on Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi, who Jack 1 subsequently searched for, eventually encountered him on Daiyu's rooftops. The protocol droid opened fire on Kenobi, but the Jedi escaped the attack. One jack followed the Jedi and his companion, Princess Leia Organa, to a nearby spaceport and approached them. However, before the droid could open fire, it was shot in the back by Heya Estri, an ally of Kenobi. Now, there is a little bit more in the biography here. Let's see. Industrial Automation, which is the same corporation that made 3PO, is this manufacturer, but instead of being a C-3PO, it was a LOM series. Let's see. He worked as pretty much the same thing that we have already gotten. So there's not a lot here, and then we just kind of repeat some of the same stuff. So as far as that goes, not a lot here, but it is cool to have another droid that we can look at. So going through all the joints and everything else, I did have a little issue right here, and then I got my screwdriver bit out. We have these struts here, just like what we would see on C-3PO, but there's a little ball joint that goes in here, and then that was kind of popped out. So keep that in mind. And then these just kind of sit on the back side here, so they can pop out as well. It's not a big deal. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just kind of letting you know, if you do decide to pick them up, or pick one of them up, or multiples, or whatever the case may be, it is something that may or may not happen. Okay. Well, if it doesn't want to go in there, I'm not going to force it at this point. So what I do want to say is, we're going to start off with our arms. I'm going to get this nice and close here. You can see a groove in here. So what that does is that allows us to move the arm up or out. We're still limited as far as how far we can move that arm, but that's given us a little bit of a wiggle room, although it doesn't want to really move up all that much. So I think our arms are pretty much going to be a stationary here. Our hands do move. We can rotate them, move the joints in and out a little bit. That's not a problem. We do have a swivel joint right here, so we can move them around. And we only have the one shoulder joint up here, so it's not going to move back. It's just going to the ball joint inside there. So that's all we have. We have our bandolier here, which is fun. Adds a little extra flavor. We do have holsters that are built right into the droid. So this is the same gun, just kind of flipped around, And I don't know if this is going to be I would say like an optic. I don't think it's going to be, looking at them, or if it's like a laser or something, like a laser pointer that's going to be used on it. So that way we can aim a little bit better. I don't know. Either way. But yes, the holsters are kind of built right onto the leg, which is an interesting concept. The legs are very much what I would expect to see for C-3PO. And again, we are very limited as far as how much maneuverability we have with them. So we do have our standard ankle, and we can kind of move our ankle back and forth. That's fine. We only have a single knee joint. And when I first started, the knee didn't want to really move all that much. Once I broke it free, now it moves a little bit better, but it's only a single, so we're not going to be able to kind of kink it all the way back and have them stretch anything out. And we do not have a rotation all the way up until we get close to the hip itself. So right here is our rotation, and that's all we get. So as far as trying to kind of maneuver into different positions are going to be a little bit more limited. Of course, we still kind of lift up a little here, but with everything else in the way, you're not going to get much wider than this. So it looks like it's an old Kenner. Oh God, yeah, that the way he sits is like an old Kenner figure. That's how the Kenners worked, because they only had the hip or the joint right here in the groin for the hip. They move the legs, and then they kind of always flared out like that. So it's kind of funny to think of it in that regard. It's all right, not a problem. It's just the whole thought of it. So, okay. Now we do, for the abdomen, we do have, there's not much rotation here. This is very solid. There's not much movement. We do have a little bit of a joint here, but he's not moving all that much either. So it's going to be a very stiff figure. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you pick it up or whatever, you find it on clearance somewhere, and you're on the fence about it, and if I'm kind of getting you into buying it, it's going to be a little stiff as far as the movement goes. And technically, it's going to be depending on when you play, it might be a dead character. We could always call it something else if we really need to, or just keep it as one jack and just have fun with it. Either way, comes with the 2 pistols. Not bad. The head is an interesting concept. I do kind of like how the head looks. We do have a little bit of movement with the head. You can kind of side to side, down. Going up is not going to go very far. And of course, then we can rotate a little bit, so we have that. But this is almost a little translucent here. And I'm sure that for the actual actor that was in the suit, that made it a little easier trying to see things. But as far as the actual droid itself, I don't know if it really made a big difference. I'm going to guess that, and I'm going to use my knife on there, this is actually the visual sensors. We have our auditory right here. I just kind of thought of this. I don't know if our vocabulator should be here. I don't know if our sensor pickup, like our microphones and all that, would be in here, or if maybe it would be on the eye where the eyes are. So just throwing that out there. I'm not exactly certain where they would place that, but it's a nice character. It's an interesting figure. Another interesting droid to throw out there. And I kind of like having the droids. They add a little extra just silliness to the world, to the galaxy. Something that we don't really have quite yet in our own world, although we are getting closer, so that is always fun to think of in some regards. It's scary in another, but it is fun to think in some regards. But a nice figure. Has that nice classic kind of battery packs look on the back here. So, it's a nice figure to add to the collection. Stands up pretty decent here. What I've been doing is I've been kind of bending the knee a little bit in the front, so it kind of has a little bit of slant, and then it kind of comes back, and that seems to hold them pretty good. So that's really where I've been kind of keeping it. But yeah, it's not a bad figure. So with that, thanks for visiting. It's always great having you around the pool table as we go through all this stuff. Like I said, I find this stuff on clearance or whatever else. This one was on Amazon, but and I think I had even gotten them on clearance there. But as I get them on clearance, and then I notice I have a little extra backlog of them, so we're just kind of rushing through a little extra. We'll get some extra ones out during the week and all that until I kind of get caught up. We have new ones that are coming out and everything and the like, so here we are. With that, thanks for visiting. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video.